Thursday, April 27th, 2017. We are just 2 days away from Election Day, and two different issues that have kind of ended up at a different, very different than what we started with. The Third Circuit Court of Appeal judge, as well as the school board sales tax. We'll talk more about that with Attorney General Jeff Landry coming up in our next hour. But first, this new lawsuit we told you about a little bit earlier on today, the ex-husband of a woman featured in a Candyce Perret ad, in which she talks about ongoing abuse. She talks about a ruling made by Candyce Perret's opponent, Susan Theall, that a ruling on her part gave this supposedly abusive ex-husband custody, or shared custody at least.
50-50.
And then she alleges that abuse continues. Now, a defamation suit has been filed on behalf of him. His name is Nick Scittoni. And his attorney joins us on the phone now. Good morning.
Yeah, Attorney Kirk Piccioni joining us. Good morning, sir. Thanks for being here with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm on my cell phone, by the way, so I don't know if there may be a little bit of a second delay in my answers. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, but I can hear you guys fine.
Okay, great. I think it's sounding okay, so we'll roll with it. In the event that we get disconnected, we'll just we'll try to pop back on the line with you as well. All right, want to start out with the obvious question, and that is, tell us a little bit about what you can about why your client came to you and wanted to file the defamation suit. And it's against two people, correct? Candyce Perret and Brooke Stoma?
That's correct. I had not heard these ads. I had not talked to anybody about these ads. And Nick Scittoni came to me and my wife, Brenda Piccioni, who's my partner. And you could see the stress he was under. You could see the concern in his face. I think, I've mentioned that that the state police take these kinds of allegations very seriously with regard to their employees. But he was also very concerned about the effect that this is going to have on his children. And he was debating very seriously about, should I let this go on? Should I try to be the bigger person and just not do anything, or do I have to try to put a stop to it? And eventually he said no. He says, I've got to do something.
So I guess the biggest question for a lot of people, we have asked the other campaign to basically let us interview the woman or talk to the woman or identify the woman, but your client does maintain that this is his ex-wife.
Oh, yes. Numerous people can identify her from the commercials, yes.
Okay. Now, talk about a little bit about his employment and employer, because you were talking about the idea that he didn't really want to get involved. But then when it comes to his career, there were some major concerns there for him.
Right. He's a trooper first class with the Louisiana State Police. And any allegations against a trooper that they have committed domestic abuse or that they have committed child abuse are very serious and potentially career-ending accusations.
So at this particular point, if they have not declared that they call the ad Sarah, if they have not declared that this is, in fact, the woman who is speaking in this ad, is that a problem for your case?
I don't think so, because it's obvious to a lot of people who they're talking about. If the commercial had been done differently, where there was speculation as to who they were talking about, and where it wasn't obvious to people in my client's life that this was Brooke Stoma talking about my client, then that would be a whole different situation. My client would have probably just said, okay, never mind. But the instant these commercials started airing, he started getting phone calls from people who knew him. Nick, have you heard this radio ad? Nick, have you seen this TV commercial? It's unbelievable. You've got to do something.
So tell me, because The Independent ran a story yesterday, and it talked about the allegations surrounding this ad and whether or not they had a stipulation in court and whether or not Susan Theall denied the ability of Sarah, or maybe AKA Brooke Stoma, to reveal her allegations of abuse. But then there was this question from The Independent, and we began asking the question, tell us what a stipulation means. We saw that on the paperwork between the two parties working for a divorce. What does that really mean,
Right.
or what can you tell us?
And I understand why y'all are asking that,
Yeah.
because, and I do cite that in the lawsuit. I mean, my primary concern is not about the politics and not about the judicial race,
Right.
or Perret or Theall and who did what. My primary concern is bringing out the truth that these things are lies about Nick Scatoni, okay? But as evidence of the fact that, that the commercial is loaded with lies, you can look at some of those things about what happened in court. In Brooke Stoma's own petition for custody, for the court to decide the custody of the children, she says in her petition, it is in the best interest of the children that joint custody be awarded. And then a joint custody order is prepared, and it is submitted to the judge. Both sides, they each have a lawyer. They go to the judge, and they say, Judge Theall, here, we've agreed on joint custody. Would you please sign this order? Okay.
And precedent would be that they do, right? If both parties agree?
Say that again?
It's not uncommon it's not uncommon for the judge to sign off on it if both parties actually agree on something.
Right. Yeah. If the parties agree, then there's nothing contested for the judge to have to decide.
So how would somebody, let's say for the female in this case, if she wanted to contest that, how does she contest that? Because so the lawyers go in, they do their talking, they make their agreement. Did these two parents also discuss this?
Yeah, they were asked on the record under oath if this was their agreement. And
the wife agreed to that under oath on the record?
Yes. The transcript is attached as an exhibit to our lawsuit.
Yes. Okay, which I did see in the paperwork. Yep, I saw that in the paperwork. So let me ask you from the standpoint of where this goes now. Will this be something that will be handled in court before Saturday? I'm assuming not, but I don't know.
Well, we're hoping that the suit gets served on them as soon as possible, and that their attorney, who they hire to represent them, will contact me and my wife as soon as possible, so that we can try to work something out. But the truth is the main. That's the most important thing to my client. That the truth come out.
So, and I guess about the truth too, and coming out, I'm wondering about the trooper, because he contends that he has not done any of these things. And there was some question in the Independent article about a DCFS investigation. But it sounds like that investigation went nowhere.
After this court hearing in 2013.
Yeah, 2013, they agree to this custody, right? They both agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brooke made one complaint to the Department of Child and Family Services, DCFS, and it was investigated by DCFS. They always do. And the complaint was found to be unsubstantiated. And
so I'm just so curious about how she testifies under oath and says, yes, she agrees to this. And so then they take the paperwork from that point, and what do they do with it? Then it just goes into a matter of record, and it's decided at that point. Can either party go back and change their mind?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a domestic lawyer, so I don't know exactly what the delays are.
And I'm sorry, but all these questions are running in my mind.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I think an order like that is you can't contest it for, I think, 6 months.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
You'd have to ask the domestic lawyer to be sure.
Okay.
But except for unusual circumstances. But, yeah, I mean, it's been 4 years since that order was put in place. And neither side has requested any kind of amendment.
Right.
Brooke didn't, I was asked yesterday if my lawsuit was political.
Yeah.
And my response to that was, well, first of all, if you'd have seen the look on my client's face, you'd know it wasn't political. But if you want to talk politics, Brooke Stoma could have called the police. If you listen to what she says in her ad about how they're fearing that their lives are in danger. In 4 years, did she call the police? No. Did she call DCFS? That one time it was unsubstantiated. Did she go back to court to try to get anything done? No. The first time we hear about any of this is in a political ad that really, although it defames my client, it doesn't improve her situation. It just affects a judicial race.
Now,
So,
in these 4 years, your client has also been seeing his children, right?
Yeah, they have not only, joint custody is a status. It doesn't necessarily mean 50-50 custody time-wise.
Okay.
You can have joint custody, but, the dad have every other weekend or something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
But in this case, they actually do have 50-50 custody. He gets his kids half the time.
And in 4 years, no complaint that we know of. And let me ask you this.
Well, you can check the court record. Nothing's been filed requesting any kind of an amendment.
Nothing filed to request an amendment about the custody.
Right.
Okay. Anything that you would like to add to this particular situation?
No, I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to try to clear my client's name.
All right, sir. Well, Attorney Kirk Piccioni has been joining us. I want to thank you very much for your time, and we do appreciate it, too, because we do try to get all sides of the issue, and want to thank you for agreeing to be on the program. Sometimes people don't, they kind of shy away from it, but we do appreciate it because that way people hear from the people who are within the situation.
Right.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much.